Marianne, that looks great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So you officially have now won the tiara in the first 30 seconds of being on that horse's back. No, you know why?
I want a chance.
No, you're all out of luck now. You know why? Because from the second you got on him, you have your contact and you're making him walk forward into a round neck. Every speech I give everybody every single day is, will you get on from the mounting block? And even if it's not, I mean, you keep him that much together because he's him. You know, I don't want you having him on loopy reins to the buckle, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, the girls, Jody and Brenna, saw my black horse.
Oh, yeah.
You can't give him the rein to the buckle or you're coming off.
Yes.
Okay, it's just him.
Yeah.
And, but you know, even if I'm on even like a free walk, I still want to feel like I watch people walk away from the mounting block, you know, the ones that have worked for me for 11 years. And I'm like, will you make the cotton picking horse walk? See, that for me sets the tone for the entire ride.
That's what I've learned the hard way, yes.
Well, it hasn't been the hard way in an excruciatingly hard sense.
No,
I mean, it's not like, you know what I mean. But it's the hard way enough that it makes every bit of your ride difficult. Marianne, that is excellent. And you know, with a horse like this guy too, you can go right ahead with him on your walk, and you can do a little shoulder in and a little leg yield and stuff. That's good for him. His issue is 100% not quality. He's a high quality horse. Great gaits, good looking horse. He's one of the things that's difficult about him is he is a little bit electric, right?
Yeah.
But that's one of the best things about him. Like, the more you go on with him and get your confidence with him, the more you'll embrace the fact that he is a horse with energy.
I think we have both come to trust each other.
The worst awful thing you can ever get is a horse that you have to make do everything. You don't have to create energy in him. That's a wonderful thing about him. How long have you had him?
2 years.
Well, guess what, darling? The 2-year mark is when you both start to understand who each other are. And if you make it that far, you'll make it forever.
Oh, good.
I think I told you before, my Nancy Binter that Jody knows got Olympus, who was an international Grand Prix horse, like done big shows and won big stuff. 5 years to get her to the Grand Prix ring and have her confidence. All of a sudden she can do anything with him. 2 years. And those kind of horses like this, he is a horse that's got blood. And he does see everything. And he does see the fact that the letters are different or the flowers are purple today. Those horses keep him busy.
Yep.
Busier the better.
He's made me better.
Well, you know what happens, what you'll start to find? What happens initially is that you go, you know, they get a little edgy on you, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is your conscious brain goes, the less I do, the more he'll calm down, right? Like we freeze, you know? We freeze. and we figure that if I don't rock the apple cart at all, he'll be calmer, right? It makes a logical sense in a certain way, but you know what happens? It's totally anti-horse. The horse that's edgy and notices everything, the busier you keep him, the quieter he will get. Great. You know what? You have a much solider contact than I've ever seen you have. You have a much more purposeful seat. Your leg is on him more. You're being way more demanding of him. And guess what's happening? He's getting calmer.
Yeah,
It's exactly what your conscious brain says shouldn't work. It's what we know from doing horses 30 some years.
Right.
We know that the more you put an edgy horse to work, the calmer he gets. But we've ridden a lot of horses and seen the effect of that.
Yeah.
You ride one. Looks like a different horse.
He is.
The look on his face. 2 years. The first year you figure out who they actually are. And if they're a little bit of a prick, you figure that out.
Yeah.
The second year you work the terms of the agreement out. If you make it 2, you'll make it 20. Generally, it's getting to the second year mark that's the hard part. And you can't explain that to somebody till you live it a couple times. Marianne, that's great. You go on with your ride like you normally would. Just the look of her having her contact and sitting into him has changed the horse. Somebody has, you have to live that through a one time to know how it works.
Yep.
I have done this horse a great injustice. I forgot his fly mask.
You
He
want
will
it?
survive perfectly fine. It's not like we're going to ride him from here to Kansas. Good. Marianne, the shape of his neck is totally different. This horse has a crest now. Love it. So why don't you go ahead and trot with it? And the other thing is you have to call the shots on when you need a break and stuff.
Yeah, I will.
Because I can't, it's hot out there. I realize that.
So one thing we're working on, Michael, is when I do say we're going to pick up the truck, he always has to say, I don't think so. And then he gets over it, but we're trying to lose that.
Part of that is just that sheer grit where you go, I'm going to sit here and put my leg on and I'm trotting. And he may have an opinion which he's not entitled to. For 45 minutes a day, his opinion can be checked at the door. I didn't see any of this.
Oh, and then he likes to...
I didn't see any of this major catastrophe stuff going. Okay, now. So now you're going to get a mini lecture. Because of the new Marianne and your skill with this horse, and the fact that you have him round in front of your leg and complying with you,
Yes.
I don't ever want to hear again, he's this or he's that. You make him exactly what you want him to be. It doesn't matter what he wants. He can have his wants for 23 hours and 15 minutes a day. Marianne gets her way for this. It doesn't matter. If he doesn't want to put his head down, make him put it down. If he doesn't want to yield to your left leg or right leg, make him yield to your left or right leg. Good. Don't overdo it with the engine here. He's forward enough. Worry about that clear, good contact. You need a little better inner, you have a good outer rein. Keep the outer rein steady and work on an inside bending and an inside leg. That's perfect. And you know, you don't want to bail on that. You've got to keep reminding him about this kind of flexion and this kind of outside rein all the time. That's perfect. Okay.
I'm just catching my breath.
Yep, that's fine. Reins are too long. I don't care if the bursts are 20-meter bursts.
Yep.
I care that they're 20-meter bursts that Mary Ann owns every single step of the way Mary Ann wants. You can make them a little bit rounder, actually. Like, try to keep your outer rein pretty good and work on that wrist on the inside. Good. Okay, I'm failing to see this disastrous transition
Yeah,
you warned me about. Good. Marianne, that's great. You keep your body weight down on that saddle. He does not push your seat up out of the saddle, because when you have your thigh down in that thigh block and your seat down and your shoulder back, you have power. Keep your outer rein. Yep. You work a little bit with that inside wrist. Little more trot from your inner leg. Marianne, get your reins just a tiny little bit shorter, so you're clear with your contact. Yep, and you put the leg on him and you read him the riot act if he just puts a brake on with you. You sit down and put your leg on him. He will figure it out. Good. Good. Trot on. Perfect transition. Marianne, you've got to be firm and clear with him. Firm and clear. No wishy-washy anything. Good. Good. Keep your contact. That's perfect. Firm and clear. Good. Keep that leg yield right over to the track. Right to the track. Go every step to the track. All the way. Wonderfully done. Keep that bending on him to the left. Yep. Keep trotting and show me one more leg yield. Yep. Yep. Keep the right rein. Flexion to the left. Keep the right rein. Now leg yielding. Fabulous, Marianne. Wonderful. Walk, get your breath. Wonderful. That always makes me so happy to see somebody when they finally figure that piece out.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is? Like, what happens is you get a horse and you figure out who they are. And then when you have somebody who knows what they're doing, who teaches you,
Yes.
and you're a smart person, intellectually you figure it out. But putting intellectually into practice messes you all up. Because the horse throws about 4,000 curveballs at you.
Yep.
Every single thing you go to make work that intellectually should work doesn't work. You know, Jody and I don't get sucked down that path so much because we ride so many different horses that we have something that levels out our opinion.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If I ask him to do one thing and he makes a big deal about it, and then I ride 3 other horses who don't make a big deal about that, I start to go, wait a minute, this is an expectation, not a wonder, right? But you don't have that. You ride one horse, so you float somewhere in that limbo is what I'm asking him reasonable and he can figure it out, or am I doing the wrong thing? And then you second guess yourself and he reads into it.
Right.
Now you're past that. Make him walk on a little better. Good, Marianne. When you're ready, trot with him. Very good. Doesn't need to be any bigger than that. Doesn't need to be any forward than that. That is a wonderful, nice, solid 7 trot. Doesn't need to be bigger. The big fancy part comes last, huh?
Yeah.
It's that glue and organization part that's the next one. Now you've got the submission part now. You figured out how to have it work for you. Now it's that consistency that's the key. Great. I want you to go ahead and sit down on him and do another leg yield on this side where you sit. Marianne, I've never seen you sit into the horse like this. It's so nice to see. And when you get that, where you can drop your body weight down in their back, it changes the whole ride.
Yes.
Put him on a little bend to the right. Bend him good right. Make him flex right, stick your right leg on him. You yield him right over to this flowers over here. Just leave him there, leave him there, leave him there. It's so wonderful to see you have influence on him. You have influence now. That is the most impossible thing to teach somebody until they figure out the nuts and bolts of it, and the most essential, that you can influence your horse. Circle. Make like a 10 or 12 meter circle and put him on a right flex. Really get your inner leg on him and keep it there. Yep, see your outer rein is so firm now, he can't avoid the connection. You know, and then the interesting thing is, you have to be a little tough on, tough is the wrong word. You have to be demanding on them for a little while.
Yep.
But once you do that, they become easy to ride.
Absolutely.
It's amazing, isn't it? Once
Yep.
you get it, it's like liberating. All of a sudden, it's there. That's a round horse. That's a round horse.
This is a horse you could ride all day if it weren't.
Also,
degrees.
look at his ears. His ears are like out here halfway because he's focusing on you, right? Because now you've given him no option to focus on everything else. His world is about 3 inches in front of his nose now. Doesn't matter what happens on the external things, you know? I mean, sure, if the tent falls down, he should see it.
Yeah.
But if one of us gets up and moves, he's not focused that far. He's in your zone now. It's impossible to explain, and once you learn it,
Yeah.
you have it forever.
It's just a trust thing, I think.
Well, you know what it is? Trusting is fine, but part of the way along the way, you have to work out the terms of the agreement.
Yeah, and I think that made him trust me as soon as I got that.
I always have the hardest time explaining to somebody that, like, it's just like kids, right? Kids that run wild don't do real well. They're unhappy most of the time. Kids that have had a decent, solid structure always do better and are happier. Always. You know? You know, parents who expect the TV and the school to raise the kid have future serial killers of America. Parents that are involved properly with their kid's life turn out good kids, period. It's the same with horses. A horse left to free rein to interpret everything turns out badly. A horse who's fairly guided through exactly what you want, you're clear, works out beautifully. Along the way, what happens though is you muster up the gumption to be clear with him, and then he throws a curveball at you, and you go, well, that wasn't right. And sooner or later, you get to that point that you go, wait a minute. I know I mustered up the gumption to tell you what I wanted. You disagreed with me. I'm going to muster it right up again and again and again until I get what I want.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those horses settle right into a beautiful life. And there's 1%, just like 1% of people are sociopath, 1% of horses are sociopath. There's that certain horse that nobody's going to train. Klimka's going to come back from the dead and he's not going to make it stop rearing. It's just fact with horses and people. And all other horses with proper guidance and proper direction and clarity turn out beautifully, just like kids. Lovely walk. He could be a little more together. Could be a little rounder. I'm guessing over the winter, partly what happened is you started to be assertive with him.
Yeah, I had to. When I decided to keep him, I
had
to up my game.
You had to become assertive.
Yeah.
I don't like the word aggressive. It means the same
Oh,
thing. But
yeah.
you know what assertive sounds.
Yeah.
You had to become assertive with him and a little bit willful. You know.
Yeah.
And when they're willful with you, you got to be willful back. Not mean, but you have to be 1 degree more willful than they are. So, when you get to that point, all of a sudden you have these breakthroughs and the horse starts to work for you and be submissive. And I hate that word submissive. Maybe compliance a better word.
On the same page.
Or becomes a good partner.
Yeah.
Don't forget, once you get here, keep right on doing what you were doing that got you here, you know? That's how you get there. Because he clearly is not suffering from that good direction. He's blossoming. His body looks better. The horse looks like he's a hand taller. You know, when he used to go around, he'd get that neck flat and kind of get, you know, disconnected.
Yeah.
And now he looks like he's a hand taller. He looks like he's a Grand Prix horse walking around now, not like he got broke 3 weeks ago. Great. So how about you go ahead someplace and trot with him again when you're ready? Nice. Keep your contact, Marianne. Make him a bit rounder. Yep. And take a circle. Terrific. And you leave him right there. So on the circle here, can you canter with him?
Yeah, this way.
Great. Let's see. Doesn't have to go an hour. He just has to show me a proper canter. That needs a better half vault. You need a much clearer aid and a better half vault.
I think I didn't have a good enough trot.
I think that number one, but I didn't feel like you really put your leg into him and said, let's canter. Be clear. Good. 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 Develop that trot and go right ahead with him and put that outer leg back and canter. Put it back. You're fine. Good. Go for it. Sit. Keep him round, Marianne. Push your seat down. Every stride, drive your seat down. Drive your seat down. Keep him from your seat into your hand. See, you have power and security when your seat's down like this. And trot. You don't have to go an hour. It's hotter than the hinges on the door to hell today. Just trot, trot, trot. Put him right together. Put him together. Don't rise. Sit. Sit into him until you get what you want. Trot, 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 trot.
Pilot error.
Put your leg on him. Put your leg on him. You ride another half a circle. You bet you quit after he does what you want, not before. Now you can take a walk break. Wonderful. We'll let him walk on just a bit more and change rein with him. Yep, walk on. You don't want, when he curls his neck that deep, make him march on a little better. Really sit down into him. Let your seat move with him. You can put a better walk on him just by sliding your seat deeper on the saddle. So you just moved your seat better on the saddle and your walk got 1 mark better. Don't be shy to let your lower back work on his back. That's it. Great. Great. What you've changed mostly in this horse is his demeanor. The look on his face, his ears are at the side all the time. There's none of that like ears pricked looking around and stuff. You know, the thing is, now the fun begins with him.
I think so.
Now you can actually start doing some of that stuff he knows how to do and have fun with him. You're not the only one, I'm telling you. My Dr. Nancy Binter bought that International Grand Prix horse. She's had him 5 years. This year she went down the center line Grand Prix in Florida and got between 60 and 65 every time. 5 years to get her confidence and really feel like she could ride him.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because he's so trained, you know?
Yeah.
The higher level they're trained to, the longer that takes.
If I can plug myself into his training, then we could work.
You are now ready to do that. So change rein and then go back to the right. It'll be easy, Marianne, to get the exercises he knows how to do out of him when you have this rideability. That stuff's easy. Jody can teach you that. We can teach you that stuff in a short time. We can teach you how to do changes and pirouettes and all. We can teach you that. That's easy. That's just applying your aids in a certain combination. Okay, that's easy. Getting the horse to accept your aids, that's hard. Believe me, the people that work for me, Justin is as good a rider as there is any place in this country. And you know what? Every day I have to remind him about it's not about your flying change, it's about the fact he accepts your aids. Keep your contact. Good. Wonderful. So when you're ready, let's see this canter. Sit down. Keep your outer hand near his withers. Push your seat. Push your seat. Push. Close your leg. Push. Don't take your leg away. Push him. Hold your calf on him, Marianne. Drive your rear end down. Push. Push. You can do this. Push. Push. Send him forward. Lean back. Use your weight over his croup. Wonderful. Trot, 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 trot. You go on with him. Don't you go on with him on his terms. Good. Contact. Move him forward. Put a little leg on him. If you need to touch him with that stick, you use a little tap with that stick to wake him up. The more his hind legs work, the better he will get. Straight ahead. Fabulous. Look at that. Open him up a little. How about a little lengthening? Look at that. Walk. Wonderful.
Did you say walk?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
wonderful. I don't care what you do or how long you do it for when it looks like all of this work.
Yeah.
In fact, you know, a day like this, you work a 2-minute burst, you take a walk.
Yep.
You do a 2-minute burst, you take a walk. And actually, that's not a bad way to work him some days when you ride him.
Yeah, as
Let
long
him,
as
let him think he's done 20 times in a ride.
As long as we leave on a high note, I feel.
I haven't seen a low note today.
No, but we've had some, but we work through them before we leave.
The reason you're now where you're at is because you worked through the low note and refused to go back to the barn on anybody's terms but your own.
Poor Jody.
Do you know how many days of the year I have? Look, when I get a horse ready where I think I'm ready to take him out and do the Grand Prix, I'm over all that stuff. He'll do whatever I want, whenever I want. It took me a couple of years with Urbanus. I just showed Victor here a week ago in Kentucky. Victor, I've had 4 years. I waited 4 years to show him. I took him in a CDI Grand Prix, and I won both CDI Grand Prix with Victor, and he's my third string horse. At high marks, he's been in 2 tests in his life, and that was the third one in a CDI Grand Prix, and I won, which is unheard of because they got an article coming out in the Chronicle about Victor.